What's up, everyone? Thanks for clicking on my video. Today, we're diving into the best suburbs of the Kansas City Northland area. If this is your first time to my channel, I want to introduce myself. I'm Big Mike, and I'm a local Kansas City real estate agent, and I help people all the time making moves around the Kansas City Northland area. But we'll be go ahead and just diving into Liberty, Parkville, Platte City, Kearney, Smithfield, Gladstone. We're going to be hitting all the major suburbs of the area and kind of some good points and some not so good points about all of them. So sit back, relax, enjoy the show. Now, the first suburb we'll be diving in is the hottest suburb in the entire state of Missouri. It's Liberty, Missouri. And why is it so hot? Everything is going up all around Liberty, Missouri, causing property values just to skyrocket, including the area is just expanding so quickly that they're even discussing a new school here in the few years in the future. Now, this is a suburb style community for sure if you're unfamiliar, and it has one of the most top rated schools in the entire area and definitely in the state of Missouri. This is one of the most happening areas in the entire Northland. You got plenty of food, you got plenty of shopping, you got plenty of history going on, plenty of trails if you're an outdoorsy person. There's a dog park in Liberty. There is so many different food spots, from higher end to drinking bars to overall just everything you could possibly imagine in Liberty. And it really is probably the closest, nicest suburb in the Northland from downtown. Parkville is up there, but I would say Liberty is number one just because the property values are going up so quickly and everyone's just flocking to here before Park. Now, since I've already discussed a little bit about Parkville, let's just go ahead and dive in this as like the second, in no particular order, mind you. These are just the top suburbs in total around the entire Kansas City Northland area. So Parkville is a lot more historic than Liberty, and it hosts some of the best views in the Kansas City Northland area. And you could just mainly be on English Landing Park. So English Landing Park is a park that has a 3-mile trail around it. It also has kids jungle gyms there. On top of that, it has a frisbee golf course there. You could go ahead and ride bikes around there. There's baseball fields there. And on top of that, if you just don't like any of that whatsoever, there's so many events always going on in the area that I feel like at least once a month there's some type of event going on. I really can't keep track of all of them. I feel like my feed on Facebook is probably every week, if not every other week. Something's always going on down there, and it overlooks the Missouri River, which when it's setting the sun in the evening, some of the most amazing views. And on top of that, I suck at fishing, but I'll go throw a fishing pole in the river and just enjoy the views, the peace, the tranquility. That's just pretty relaxing out there. So that's like the main point of Parkville, and like the attraction part is just English Landing Park. Now, about the housing, there's two major neighborhoods, let's say three major neighborhoods in Parkville, and we'll go the most expensive to the least expensive. So number one, most expensive, is the National. The National is not only the National Golf Course, to give you any perspective as how much. These are the houses that can range up to 5 million plus. This is so many mega houses. Don't take it as they're all $5 million houses in there. They're about 1.5 going up, but for the Kansas City area, maybe you're from California or maybe you're from New York, Kansas City, like, luxury style homes start to hit the 1 million mark. Anything past that is significantly over what you normally get here. So a $5 million house is probably like a 40 or $50 million house if you are in a more prevalent location. And that's just the National. Another neighborhood is Thousand Oaks. Thousand Oaks is a neighborhood ranging from 550,000 up to the new construction homes are about 850,000. And these houses are about 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom, 3-car garages, and they are anywhere from probably 3,000 square foot to 4,000 square foot all throughout, depending on if the basement's finished or not. So that's the real major determining factor. And the very last one would probably be Wrist Lake. So obviously, Wrist Lake's in like the center of Parkville. It's the one with the giant lake around it. You can't miss it from a map. And Wrist Lake ranges all over the place. Basically, I feel like starting off at 500,000 at the very lowest, but jumping up very quickly up to a million, million and a half. I think there was a house that just recently sold in Wrist Lake, overlooking the water, beautiful, beautiful looks. And that one sold for like 3 or 4 million. I forget what the price was. But just to give you an idea as to the three top neighborhoods in the area. And it's still like that small town vibe feel, though. You go walk downtown, it's like historic. It's there's a lot of traffic down there. There's all these little boutique style shops where back in the day you would have probably loved to be there, but it kind of just brings you back to the history. Uh, Outside of that, it's kind of a stretched little small town anymore. But the downtown area still has that downtown vibe, and that's Parkville for you. All right, so we've got Liberty and we got Parkville out of it. The next one we're going to be hopping to is Gladstone. So Gladstone is probably the best spot for first-time homebuyers if you're looking to do that. Prices here are about 250, 300,000, ranging, I mean, on the higher side, probably about 600,000 here in Gladstone. Nothing's astronomical here, but the reason why it's so good is it's very close to downtown. So it's a lot older for sure. There's not a lot of new construction going in Gladstone. Hell, I really don't think there's a lot going in general around Gladstone. And it's just a lot older homes. A lot of people flocked here back in the day, and they've owned their homes for so long now. You can find yourself a very nice first-time house for like 250, 300,000 here in the Gladstone area. And that doesn't even mention all the pluses. So there's the Gladstone amphitheater thing. It has like concerts during the summer about every single weekend. Has like a bunch of different craft beers in there. Has a bunch of food spots. It may be every other weekend. Don't quote me on that. But just a small little thing. So if that was something, if you don't like to be too far away from your house, maybe you have a couple cocktails and don't want to get too far for an Uber purpose, Gladstone may be just a cool place to go sit in the grass, enjoy some concert, enjoy some music. If you're like me, go and talk to anybody with a pulse. It just really depends on what you are after. And then on top of that, just to kind of mention like what Parkville had going on, there's Happy Rock Park, which is probably the number one park here in Gladstone. And there's a bunch of trails all throughout the woods. And on top of that, there's soccer fields, there's baseball fields, there's biking trails, there's kids jungle gyms, just everything you could possibly imagine. So for any type of summer activities, or I'm doing 75 hard right now, a little chillier activities, I'm walking the trails every single morning, and it's just a good time consumption over there and getting a little bit healthier. Next suburb we're going to be discussing is Briarcliff. So Briarcliff is the closest suburb out of the entire Kansas City Northland area. And it is a luxury home community for sure. Now, these houses just in the Briarcliff area are probably on the low side, about 700,000 if you're on the main strip of Mulberry. And then once you start branching out a little bit, the houses get significantly older. And after that happens, you're probably still looking at like the 500 range. And that's just in Briarcliff alone. But the reason it's so attractive is it's only about 10 minutes from the heart of downtown. So if you're looking at like a million and a half home and you're like, you know what, maybe you have some type of corporate job that requires you to be in downtown every single day, this may be an opportunity for you if you are moving from, let's say, a little bit farther from out of state. And it may be a good option for you to go ahead and check out. All right, and if you are a foodie, Briarcliff may be the spot for you. You're not going to find like a lot of upscale upscale shopping spots. Everything's kind of boutiqued out around Briarcliff, but there's also Trezor Mar and there's also Barrio. So two a little bit nicer restaurants in the area. Tres Del Mar is a fantastic Italian spot, and then Barrio is a fantastic Mexican spot. Just to name a two of the couple, they have their own grocery store, Red X over there. They have plenty of fast food spots. They have the Quick Trip, a gas station right there. So you right outside in Riverside, Briarcliff's right there. So you have everything you can possibly imagine in Briarcliff, where you could just not move more than 5 miles any direction. You have everything you possibly need. When you start to need to get to more upscale restaurants, that's when you might need to branch out a little bit. Next one on this list is Smithville, Missouri. Personally, my favorite, the one I spend the most time in. And that's mainly because all my friends are up that direction. So all my friends want to live on 2 to 5 acres. So that's why I go out and constantly am finding for people. People want a little bit of land and not have their neighbors breathe on them. So Smithville, Missouri is a small town that's exploding. And the reason for it is there's a lot of things going on in Smithville as far as whenever I was first living there as a child, there was just a single lane highway. Now it's completely dual lane on each side all the way up through Smithville now. So that's changed. But past just the equity everyone's built in Smithville, it's it's just that small town vibe with just that culture. I can't explain it. Whenever you go through it, everything's a little bit slower here. You're not going to find fantastic upscale restaurants here. You're not going to find fantastic top end designer clothing. You're not going to find shoe spots, clothing spots past just the boutique style of spots. So just to give you perspective on that one, now, you will find a lot of fishing, and the reason for it is Smithville Lake is by far the number one attraction for Smithville, and that's why everyone's moving here. Is if you want to go hit the water with some buddies, have a couple cold ones, go out, play on the water, maybe get some fishing in. If you if that is something that's really important to you, Smithville Lake is probably the best spot for you up here in the Northland. So if you do own a boat, pontoon, whatever the case may be, if you just like the water, Smithville Lake may be something for you. Average price point of house sold in the area is about 350,000. Luxury style homes here, I mean, when you're talking about a million plus, you're gonna get a bunch of land involved. If you were just looking into like a suburb or just a neighborhood, probably Greyhawk at the lake would be the number one. Brand new houses in the area are going for like 550 to 600. Now, that does not include the custom builds on a little bit of land, but that's probably the number one neighborhood in the area. Um, Neighborhood, if you're like a first time home buyer, that would probably be Harborview. That neighborhood ranges from like 300, 350,000, and that's pretty much the two mega neighborhoods that I would qualify for. But just to give you, I mean, it is a smaller town. Whenever you go downtown in Smithville, there's a stage that they have two mega events at the one at the start of summer and one at the end of summer that they just absolutely explode. The entire city of Smithville and surrounding areas show up. A personal buddy of mine, Eric Craig, he's the big agent over in Smithville, and he always hosts a big event that goes on and just gets the entire community involved. I'll be going there here in the next few weeks, and it's just a constant good time when you do show up. You get to go meet so many people. I like once again the network, so I'm always out meeting people and having a good time and personally just screwing with people. So love having a good time with people I just meet. Next one on this list, we're talking Platte City, Missouri, and the very last one will be Kearney. But we're going to discuss Platte City right now. So Platte City is the Platte County Pirates, the big school district. That is their number one thing that they have going on in this city. This is a more rural community, but it's a farmers community. A lot of land is out this way, and the city has exploded since the new Kansas City airport has been built. So Kansas City Airport's just outside Platte City city limits up that direction. So a lot of people, if they do a lot of traveling, this may be a city for you. Number one neighborhood in the area is Seven Bridges. So Seven Bridges is ranging from 650, 700,000 range. And then the new construction homes are like 700 plus. Now, if you wanted to buy like an older home, maybe early 2000s, you could still get them for like 500, 550, probably in that range. If you're not at that price point, you're probably looking at Lakes at Oakmont. Lakes at Oakmont is anywhere from like 450, 500. It's right across the street from Seven Bridges, and that's the next scale down below. if you're a first-time home buyer, there's so many different neighborhoods that cater to first-time home buyers in this city, and easily you could find a $300,000 house all day up in Platte City. You just have to be patient and really have to be looking when they do pop up, because a lot of people are trying to move to the area, so they get scooped up like that. All right, and on the other side of 92, so it goes Platte City, Smithville in the middle, and then Kearney on the far outskirts. So Platte City and Kearney, I would say, are not too far off from being like sister cities. They're both farm communities. They both have houses with a lot of land. They both have. Platte City has a more luxury-oriented neighborhood, but Kearney really doesn't. It doesn't have anything that's just per se like Thousand Oaks or Seven Bridges in Kearney. Now, when you start talking about the more luxury style houses in Kearney, you are going to be discussing houses with a lot of land. Honestly, anything over 600, maybe 700,000, you're not going to find without at least an acre attached to it. So just to give you perspective on this one, it is a small town community, and when you walk through downtown Kearney, you're going to see the history just everywhere. Everything's a brick wall building. Number one nightlife place is probably Fat Bob's on the square, or on the strip, whatever you want to call that. And it's just a spot where a lot of people congregate. Normally on Friday and Saturday nights, it's packed. It's shoulder to shoulder everywhere through there. There's a live band normally playing. It's just a good old time. These individuals love their school, and it's Kearney Bulldogs. To give you perspective, they are school pride. This is that small little town where on Friday nights, a lot of community just show up to watch the football game because that's what they do in this town. On top of that, they do have a few events every single year at the Kearney Amphitheater where they bring in big name country artists. They have a fantastic fireworks show. This is a lot more oriented to the small town feel where they try to get the entire community involved here. So that would just give you perspective as to what to expect if you do want to move to Kearney. So depending on where you're looking to live, maybe you're looking to live in Briarcliff because you want to live downtown. Maybe you're like, man, screw everyone. I want to go live in the country. Platte City and Kearney may be in a spot for you. Maybe you love boating. Smithville may be it. Maybe you want to be close enough but far enough from everything. Parkville is the way to go. And maybe you just want to make a bunch of money and buy a place that's only skyrocketing. Liberty's the place for you. Whatever the case may be, though, if you're looking to move anywhere around the Kansas City, Northland area, feel free to reach out to me. I can get you connected with some of the hottest deals. And on top of that, you're talking to a guy that has many off-market properties. So I'm a hustler, always have something in the works. And I just want to remind you again, I'm Big Mike. You can find me on Google, Big Mike Sells KC. I'm a Kansas City real estate agent, and I would love to work with you. So feel free to reach out. But after everything that I've discussed, smash that like button. It really helps me get noticed by other people looking to make a move. So I really appreciate it. But past that, I am out. So Big Mike is out.